It is my pleasure to introduce our next keynote speaker, Nataline Lomedico, President and CEO of Giroux Glass. Giroux Glass is a 100% employee-owned and operated commercial glass and glazing contractor based in Southern California. The company has been providing exceptional service and accountability since it was founded in 1946, and it may be best known for fitting and installing all of the glass for the Grand Canyon Skywalk. In addition to its many incredible feats of engineering and design, Giroux has won multiple awards recognizing its culture and fast growth, including winning the Inner City 100 Award for a fifth time this year, having first appeared on the list in 1999, the year it was created. Now that's sustained growth. Nataline was named CEO and President of Giroux in January 2015, and since 2002, she has been responsible for all financial aspects of the company, including financial and risk management operations. Nataline has served as controller to large corporations and has run her own small business, all of it adding to her wealth of valuable industry expertise. Nataline has led the success and growth of Giroux Glass as the inspirational leader and driving force behind transitioning Giroux Glass to full employee ownership in October of 2017. Please join me in welcoming Nataline.
Thank you, Inner City Capital Connection team, for inviting me here to share my story alongside Giroux Glass's story. Being a third-generation Californian, I thought I'd share a little email I got today from one of our board members that said, "Keep moving forward. The tides are always changing." With that, it would really describe the story of Giroux Glass, which I'll get into later. But for now, I can tell you today, Giroux is one of the largest national glazing contractors in the United States. We handle projects from concept to design to completion, and we're able to service the projects years to come. We handle very elaborate, beautiful projects such as the glass bridge over the Grand Canyon. We just recently completed the Rams Stadium in Los Angeles, the Raiders Stadium in Las Vegas. We even done the chocolate fountain in Bellagio. We handle projects such as hotels, casinos, schools, public building, and business offices in the Southwest area from California, Nevada, and Arizona, and we're licensed in New Mexico. So our story did not start this way, as you can say, and as my email reminded me this morning about the changing tides, that yes, that is indeed the story of what Giroux has been through. So I vividly remember in the year 2000, I was working for Lennar Home Builders. I mean, it should have been a dream job for me. There were 9,000 employees across the United States. And I had this big book about this fat with policies and procedures telling me exactly how I had to do my job. But I remember one day I had an idea, a great idea that would save a lot of time and money for the company. And when I brought it forward, I was told that it had to go through corporate in Florida and that in 3 months I would find out if it was a possibility to make those changes. And I remember saying, well, if it takes three months, I'm going to have 50 ideas by the time that idea is approved. And it was just about that time that I got a call from a recruiter about a small glass company, an opportunity in downtown Los Angeles with an owner that was 72 years old, looking for a succession plan, and that there would be an opportunity to buy into the company. At that time, construction was the only industry I'd ever been in. And I had worked for general contractors and other specialty contractors, and even had my own business helping small to medium-sized companies grow. And I knew that as time went on, that my passion was to be involved and be part of an owner or own a construction company and help build a better industry altogether and help the communities that I operated in. So I packed up my bags and took the 2-hour commute from Orange County to downtown Los Angeles to come to Giroux. And at the time, the company was doing $12 million in revenue, but things didn't make sense. The company was growing, but the cash flow was shrinking, and the owner was putting money into the company, and she didn't know what was going on. What I came to find out after a thorough investigation and lots of help with the great small team here at Giroux, we found that debits did not equal credits. They had a lot of fixing to do, and the biggest problem was that as the company grew, the structure of the company, the processes, and the people were not growing with the company. And so at that point, Anne Marilyn Morrow, who had bought the company in 1991, had the opportunity to decide, was she going to move forward or close down the operations? And God, I'm so thankful that she decided to give the employees an opportunity to turn things around alongside her and grow the company. So Giroux Glass started in 1946 by a man named Louis Giroux and his brother, they were performing service jobs and probably touched every building in downtown Los Angeles. Back then, there weren't that many compared to how many there are today. But through the years, Giroux continues to service those buildings. That was in 1946. In 1991, Anne Marilyn Morrow had the opportunity to buy a property. She had been trying to change the surrounding area of USC and bring it to its former glory. She came across a small commercial building that housed the glass company with 10 employees. And being the person she is and wanting to help her community, she gathered those 10 employees and said, listen up, if you guys are able to continue to operate, pay your bills, we'll stay in business. And that set the foundation of the culture of Giroux, being a collaborative group that brings diverse ideas and innovation, and also trying to build and help the company, the communities that we serve. So in 1991, she began her journey. Never being part of the construction industry, she had to learn fast, so she really leaned on the employees to help her guide the way. But she knew that when opportunity came, she was going to jump right on it and was hoping that her employees would follow along. In 1992, the Rodney King riots hit, and with that tragedy came the opportunity to grow and help build other businesses, the majority of them small businesses in the inner cities that really needed our help. And then in 1994, the Northridge earthquake hit. Again, she had the opportunity. At the time she bought the company, the largest contract that they had was $60,000, and the company was doing less than $1 million in revenue. But as these tragedies and growth around us took place, so did the company. The company grew from $900,000 up until 1991 to $12 million in revenue by 2000. So in 1991, it was less than $1 million in revenue, and she built it up to a revenue of $12 million by the year of 2000 when I joined the company. And each and every time there was an inflection point of growth, we really leaned back on that culture of collaboration, innovation, and open and honest communication. In 2000, Anne Marilyn participated in the Inner City Capital Connection program at the same time I started the company. So just opening up the doors to herself and the employees of really instilling the importance of continual education also has helped our company. So as Anne Marilyn turned around and grew the company in 2005, at that time she was 77 years old, she literally had no family members involved in the business. Her husband was a dentist. Both her children went into dentistry, and here she was, a real estate guru that took over a glass shop. Her daughter once told me that anything she touched turned to gold, but I don't think that this was the goal that she was reaching for when she joined the construction industry. But she fell in love with it, and she fell in love with the people that she had hired and the communities that she served. So in 2005, she did have to deal with what she was going to do with the company, and she had put the company up for sale. And at the time, I was hired as the controller, CFO, so I was involved in the transactions, and she got some really good offers, and every time she'd find a reason why she didn't want to sell to them. And finally I said, Anne Marilyn, this is like going through an audit after audit. What are you looking for? And she said, well, I can't do it. The employees are who helped build my company. I owe it to them. I don't want to sell it and have the company dissolve or turn into something that it isn't over time. And so in 2006, she came up with the idea of learning about an employee stock option plan. She also offered stock to be purchased by managers. The company had grown, and it was really hard to get just a few managers to buy out the company. But she stood firm that over time that she would become 100% employee-owned through this ESOP program. So we continued to grow. We had healthy growth. We started bringing on new team members. We opened up a larger facility in Las Vegas. So again, at the time we had 4 offices, a smaller office in Vegas, but we moved into a larger office, and we rolled up our sleeves and we were ready to tackle one of the nation's largest construction sites, and that was City Center in Las Vegas. It started off as a $26 million project, and we knew, I remember vividly telling Anne Merrily, this is a big risk we're taking. What if something goes wrong? And she turned to me and said, but what if something goes right? If something goes wrong, as the owner, I'll be the one to pay for it, but we're going to go for it. So indeed, we went for it. We at one time had three shifts working 24 hours around the clock with 350 union glazers in the field, pushing way towards building and helping towards building this incredible construction site called City Center. And at the same time, the recession hit. So from one day to the next, we stopped being paid. And the same coming months, we had another project in Las Vegas called Fontainebleau that went bankrupt. So there we were sitting as a small growing company that was doing, our revenue volume was going up, our profits were going up, the number of employees were going up, everything looked wonderful. California was doing well, but then we took a $10 million hit from not being paid, and we lost our line of credit, we lost our bonding. We could have lost everything, but the resilience of our team and the culture that she had so built for so long, and that had buy-in of those around us that believed in what we believed in, carried forward. So in 2013, Anne Merrily finally said, that's it. It's time. I'm getting older. I need to move on, and you guys need to carry the torch. So she gave us a 2-year deadline to find her successor and the plan to continue on with the company. And we hired a consultant. We interviewed people externally. They interviewed people internally. And at that search, they came to me and asked me to be CEO. And I said, oh no, I'm already CFO. I can't be CEO. I'm the CFO. Who's going to be the CFO? But thankfully, we had always made sure to cross-train people and help those grow within Giroux. At the time I started in 2000, I was the second youngest employee. I was 30 years old, and the first youngest was 29 years old. And I thought, oh my gosh, this company's going to die off. What are we going to do? We have to hire people. So through the years, up until 2015, we had become over 35% millennials, the younger generation, as well as the older. So we had a great, well-rounded mix of those seasoned employees to help train and mentor the younger employees. So we were in a good place. But with change comes fear, and it was our job to keep our communication open, to lay out our strategic plan, and keep everybody focused on the vision of the company with open and honest communication. And we gathered the employees together, and we said, this is it. Anne Merrily's moving on. It's up to us to really think like owners and hold ourselves accountable, to have the attitude, what if we were the only ones that can impact a decision, to make a difference? How would you do things differently? And we've carried on that attitude with our employees going forward. So in 2015, I finally agreed to become, or 2014, I agreed to become CEO effective January 1st, 2015. Since then, I also took part of the ICIC program, and I loved it, to be able to have the opportunity to be surrounded by the top professors at the top universities and learn from them. I realized at that moment that no matter what your education is, you're never ever done learning, and you have to absorb all that you can around you from your not only people that have maybe been in the industry or business longer than you have, but the new ones. Everybody has something to offer and teach. And so I just absorbed everything I learned on that program. And I remember sitting down at a round table in San Francisco at one of the events for Inner City Capital Connection. And the coach on the table said, "So, tell me about Giroux Glass." And I started off saying, "Giroux Glass has been in business since 1946. We have over 70 years of experience. We do a lot of different projects, such as the glass bridge over the Grand Canyon." And he shouted, "What?" And I shook in my chair. I said, "What's going on? What did I say wrong?" He said, "Why would you wait so many minutes into your conversation to tell me about that wow factor? I mean, what really makes you unique? Are you one of the other 17,000 glass and glazing contractors in the United States?" And I had that moment where I said, "Oh my gosh, what have we been holding back? I mean, we have so much more to offer, and we need to be able to tell the world about it." And I remember that I came back from that session, back to Giroux, really excited, and said, "What's our why? Why are we unique? Why are we different? What we're used to seeing isn't what people see about us. We have to tell them." And it really made a profound difference. And it really started our journey, really instilling the importance of continual education with our employees. Since then, we set up an education reimbursement program. We invest a lot of money into training our employees, whether it's cross-training, internal training, or external training, because indeed, you can never know enough. You should always be learning and growing. And we can't say we're that type of company if we don't do that. And so we've always and will continue to allow our employees to grow and encourage them to grow. So since 2015 to currently closing out our financials for 2020, we are the largest and strongest that we've ever been. When the pandemic hit, we went from a very collaborative in-person group. I mean, you can walk down the halls and find our employees gathered in each other's offices or around a conference table looking at plans. Even though a lot of things are digital, they would still gather around, and you'd hear the laughter in the offices and the fun. I mean, we've had events such as office Olympics, where we had, golf balls being put down the hallways, and laughter and celebrations of birthdays, and we really said, hey, we spend more time together than we do our family sometimes. So we created a culture where we'd bring people together so that when the hard times hit, when the challenges hit, they would feel comfortable to lean on each other, to support each other. So when the pandemic hit in March, we went from being a collaborative in-person office to having to work remotely. Thankfully, we were set up to work remotely, but we feared that we would lose that sense of camaraderie, of the idea of bringing diverse ideas to the table. But we did not let that stop us. We reminded each other, who are we? Nothing's going to bring Giroux down. The tide will always change, and we will change with it, going in the direction that we're moving forward. And we came up with things such as daily check-in meetings with our team, where people jump on a meeting, a Starleaf meeting, similar to Zoom. They share ideas, they talk about their fears, they talk about their personal life, maybe the challenges they're dealing with of balancing work with having students at home, schooling. And I also started sending out a Sunday letter. Just a letter to let our employees know you're not forgotten. Even though we're a distance from each other, we're still here together, and I'm here to listen to you. We're here for each other to continue to grow. And even though the pandemic seems like it's going to last a lifetime, we know it won't, and it will come to an end. And when it does, we never stopped growing. So since the pandemic, we've hired several employees, which we continue to go through the vetting process that we had before the pandemic, which is to gather different team members from different departments in different locations to interview people that we're bringing in to make sure that they're the right culture for our organization and that they share the same values, which is growth, integrity, respect, ownership, unity, and excellence. And we take it further to say, we don't want you to just look up a dictionary and see what that means. What we means is when we tell our employees that we're a company that believes in growth, it's not only professional growth, it's personal growth. It's having the attitude of continually growing and learning. And integrity, doing the right thing always, at any cost. Even if it costs us making more money, we will do things the right way all of the time. Respect. It's not about respect of what you think is being respectful. It's learning from the people that you work with what they need to feel respected. Ownership. We really have to own it. What does it mean to be an owner? You can't look to the person next to you and put the burden on them to figure out how something's going to be taken care of. We have to own it as employee owners. It's our responsibility. Unity. Unity is about reaching out and encouraging those within our organization to seek ideas and opinions different than their own. We do a lot of personality assessments so people have self-awareness of who they are. And we say, we already know who we are. We already know who people similar to we are and what they're going to think. Go to those that you think are your polar opposite and find out what they're thinking, get their perspective, because through different perspectives, we grow to be our very best. And excellence. Excellence is always striving to be better. We're never going to be as good as we can be. There's always room to grow. So we always say, never get comfortable. We're always moving. And another thing we always say is that we're just getting started. And I can sit here in the middle of a pandemic, towards the end of 2020, and still tell you that we are just getting started. We have been through peaks and valleys and challenges, hardships, and the thing that will never change is our culture of ownership, working really hard, but having fun, making sure that each and every one of our employees know where we're going and the why it's important, and helping the communities that we operate in. And through that, if I look back and think, why are we coming close to our 75th year of operation? We've always finished every project we started. We never missed payroll. We've paid every vendor we've ever owed money to. We finish every project. And we were able to do that through thick and thin is because we stayed true to the values of our company, encourage an innovative and collaborative team of diverse employees, and focus on helping our community. And that's who Giroux is, that's who I am, and that's who the employee owners of Giroux are. I encourage each and every one of you guys to always strive to continually learn, to have a thirst for learning and education, to really focus on who you are, why you do what you do, what's important to you. Your values are everything. You cannot stray from them. If you do, you will not grow your business the way it needs to grow or the way you want it to grow. And you will not be giving back to your community if you try to be anyone other than who you authentically are. And also encourage your employees to do the same. Let them know that they're welcome to be themselves. That's why it's very important to bring in the people that fit your culture and believe in what you do, because you want them to thrive on that and to be able to feel that they are where they are, not because of benefits or pay. It's the whole opportunity at a company, letting them know that there's always room to grow, what their dreams are, to find out what they want and help them get there. And together we can all make a difference in our country. I believe that our economy, our country, our world will be better if people come together and appreciate diverse ideas, encourage each other to grow, be that person to lean on, whether it's people within your own company or other companies, because that indeed is what our world needs. And today I did share our story at Giroux. So this year we will sell 90 million in revenue, and we have our highest profit than ever. Our goal was to become 100% employee owned in 2023, but we became 100% employee owned in 2017. I strongly believe we were able to do that because we brought our team together. We opened the doors of opportunities for them to speak their mind, to collaborate and share a vision. And we put it in writing and we followed it. And we left no room for failure because we knew together that we can accomplish anything. So again, we became 100% employee owned in 2017. And our goal is to reach 100 million by 2023. But I have a big feeling it might be this year. So thank you again for allowing me to share my story with all of you. And I encourage you to all focus on what's important to you, work really hard towards it, and remember above all to have some fun. Thank you.